From the bottom, we out here getting it. Don't know what a limit is. Only surround yourself with people you plan to finish with. Consistency the key, unlock the door to your dreams. Prepare, plan, and execute, complete, and then repeat.
You know, it's good to show up, but sometimes you need to do more than just show up.
Oh my God.
What? Back with another episode of From the Bottom podcast. We got your host Fitz. We got Ty.
Let's up.
We got Shalisha,
Good morning.
aka Early Bird. Tell him how you got us up early to change the time for the podcast.
And she
Wait,
did
don't
her
play with me.
edges.
Don't play with me.
She gonna text me
No.
this morning talking about, can you get on the podcast in 20 minutes? I was like, bro, I ain't even woke up yet.
No, that's
was
what happened to
thinking that
me.
too.
We had a set time to do it at 9:00 Vegas time, which is my time.
I was still.
It is
current.
It is currently 8:01. When he had texted me, it was like
I got the text
something.
messages right here. You
Talk about-
texted
me
talking.
too.
You text me talking about 20 minutes. I'm like,
No, you
all
text.
right.
He gonna talk about some. Are you up? I told him, yeah, I just woke up. Can you do the podcast in 20 minutes?
If it's up, then it up.
I don't recall that. I can neither confirm nor deny.
Yup. Looks like your lover boy. Who's that?
Is that too early for you?
We can't see the name. So
In
it
like
doesn't
20
count.
minutes. Yeah, I'm the blue.
That's his name.
I'm the blue.
You are not the blue. It's an
Right.
iPhone. I'm the blue. It's my phone.
Robert, bro.
I'm
Yeah.
the captain now. Look at me.
Yeah, you are.
I'm the captain now.
You are.
That's trying to steer the ship.
This guy
About
paving
some
the.
20 minutes.
He's paving the way for all of us.
Someone's
Yes.
got to do it. But how y'all been?
Good.
How you been?
I've been
Right. You got some news you want to share to the world today?
This guy.
good. Yeah.
Snitching
I got some news. I'm feeling great. That's the news.
There we go.
Breaking news. I'm feeling great.
There we go.
Yeah. But
Oh,
what
you're
about what about you guys? You guys are the stars of the show. Everybody knows that.
You the MVP.
I can't accept that.
You got the title now.
I just do my part.
Just doing your part.
Yeah,
What do you mean by that?
I do my part.
Fitting in where she can fit in.
Is that accurate?
What?
Fitting in where you fit in?
No, it's the saying is actually getting where you fit in.
Mm.
I pretty much fit in everywhere.
I
It's
changed
just
it.
if I
I
want to
changed
be
it
in
to my
there.
setting.
Ty changed it.
You
Okay.
feel me? So you fit in.
No,
where you
I've
fit
been good. Working, reevaluating, keeping going. Late nights, early mornings. Minus today. Today don't count. It's the weekend. It's Sunday.
It does count. The weekend includes Saturday and Sunday.
Anyway,
These are facts.
how have you been, Ty?
Yeah, how have you been?
Feeling good, living better.
There we go. There we go.
The people want to know what the people really want to know is
boy.
about y'all's journey.
Listen,
What is it that y'all doing?
I'm feeling good, living better, making strides to the vision. If you don't have a vision, everything else will perish. I'm
So what have
giving
you done in the
thanks.
last week to work closer to your
Gratitude.
vision?
I stayed up to 3:30 last night thinking we had a podcast at 9. So I was freaking out because I was still asleep. And I thought y'all had overslept. And I was like, yes, bro. Yes. Just working on the computer, man, getting stuff together, working out the logistics of everything,
Legit.
trying to figure out my next move. If I want to dive right into it and kind of ease myself into it.
What would be stopping you from diving right in?
Because for me, I want to move correctly and not jump in and rush it. I want it to happen when it's going to happen.
Sounds like a Drake line.
You feel me?
There probably is knowing y'all too.
Okay, Beyonce,
Mm.
with that hair.
Mm.
Well, Walmart brand.
For me.
Anyways,
Play
um,
with me.
yeah, I don't want to dive in too fast and it not explode like I wanted to. So I rather just take the course that is going right now and let the flow just be the flow and ride the wave for real.
What if you knew it would work out like 100%? Would you dive in?
I know it's gonna work out.
But I'm
No, it's
saying
not.
if you were to dive in and you knew it would work out the way you wanted to, would you dive in?
Sometimes there's a line when you want to dive in, so you have to wait your turn.
Mm.
So I'm patiently waiting my turn because it's gonna work out 100%. You gotta practice. So when you jump off the diving board, you get a 10. You don't make a big splash. You feel me? You just go straight through.
You going for the triple somersault,
You feel me?
swan dive. I
Do a
can
gainer.
feel it. Patience is a
that.
virtue, they say.
It is.
Not for you.
I waited my turn. I'm on the diving board. What about you, Shalisha?
Cannonballing.
Yep, cannonballing. Big splash.
I would say for me, it's the opposite. You know, we're diving in a little bit more, speeding up timelines.
Mm.
You know, reevaluating plans and goals to try to make certain things happen in a faster pace.
Ooh.
You know, still studying for my real estate. Go take that test on April 21st.
I got it in my calendar.
You know, we're minimizing obstacles that come our way and finding ways to get around them, keeping up the motivation, positivity. You see what I'm saying?
So what made you reevaluate your plan?
Well, I had to because originally I was expecting to pass my test sooner than what I did. So I had to reevaluate some things and how I was going about things to make sure that this time, you know, we passing it. I also had to reevaluate like my financial savings aspect. I'm moving to Texas in August, not the end of the year. That's 3 months away. Lord, but I want to have my Texas real estate license before I go down there in August. So that way I could try to just jump into that full time and not have to get a job because I'm tired of that 9 to 5 shit.
Stop. See,
So.
she going in. The kids are people messaging me talking about I'm trying to watch this with my kids and the cussing.
She didn't, because we got the same message. Then nobody mentioned my cursing, which world I'm working on it. I promise you. They did not mention that. They mentioned Ty and his little photos. He was getting early in the morning. See what I'm saying?
What
you
photos?
talking about? What are you talking about? Photos?
The last episode, remember you was talking about somebody had sent you a Snapchat or some photos?
Oh, shorty, they got the OnlyFans.
Yeah, when we was talking about the OnlyFans, Zet was listening to the podcast in the car with my nephew, and she was like, "Y'all need an explicit warning on your podcast."
Which there is one, but I don't think that's explicit because there was no like vulgar language.
That was truth. Or that was just the conversation.
He wasn't like, "Oh, she had this and she had that and this that." And you be like,
a message.
This.
Well, you tell Zet to reach out to me personally. We can handle
it. Don't come for her.
What do you mean come for her? I said we can handle it. That's not my fault. You take it so negatively.
Ooh.
I'm working on my cursing though. For real.
I hope you leave that negative mindset in Vegas.
Me too.
It ain't gonna matter where you move.
I've changed it. I've been working on that too, tweaking it. You know, my mind jumps to negative places just out of, I guess you could say, habit.
Emotional.
But yeah, that too. But no, I feel like this is a good move. It's about to change a lot. I'm super, super excited. I'm ready to go. Like yesterday type shit.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean that's a perfect segue into our segment of the day, which is, you know, for those fans that have been following us, it's
Vet.
Does this make me a bad person?
Is that how you say her name, Vet?
Zet?
No, Zet. Well, her real name's Zet Triana.
Oh wow.
Why don't you just give her social? Holy moly.
We gotta shout her out. She the best.
Zet.
She another MVP.
Gee whiz. I can't use my cuss words, so I gotta say some different things. Gee whiz.
You
put
don't
that
really
in.
be cursing like that anyway, so
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he
not
do.
really.
Yeah, he do.
Yeah, I do.
You do, but you don't.
I'm out here.
Bro, he does for real.
I'm out here with them cuss words.
Especially when he get turned up.
I just
Well,
be
yeah, if
getting.
he's mad.
Nah.
But me,
I
mine
just
are
be
pretty much in
control.
every sentence.
Not even
I'm not
when
just
he's
out here
mad.
like da-da-da-da-da-da, cuss, and then it's like, oh my bad. It's like I've always been able to control. Like I've never really cussed in front of someone that I didn't want to. You know, like I can control myself to where it's like I know what to say when. So it's like when I say it, then I know that I mean it. So I don't know.
Feel it.
But yeah, let's get into our segment. Enough of Shalisha's foul mouth.
Don't blame me.
So does this make me a bad person? And again, for first time listeners and for y'all, because y'all every week talking about, is this you? This does not mean it's me. This is
What'd
just
you do this
for
week?
thought-provoking purposes. Okay. Does this make me a bad person? So if I borrow money from somebody and I tell them I'm gonna pay them back on a certain day, and I know that I actually don't have any way to pay them back. Does this make me a bad person for asking for the money?
No, that's the principle.
What do y'all
and
think?
I wouldn't say no. Well, I mean, it wouldn't make you a bad person. I think people, when they ask for money, they be like, I'm gonna pay it back, even though they have no intentions on paying it back. It's not because some people, it's because they know they can't pay it back and they're just ashamed to just say, can I have it? Instead of saying, can I borrow it? I guess borrowing sounds better to them. I would just be honest though, because that person may be expecting you to pay them back.
So what if they need it? What if that person needs it and they're just giving it to you because they were trying to help you out and now they're going without?
I think it depends on the type of money. How much money we talking? How much money we talking?
We talking $20.
Okay. So for me,
at minimum,
how I would handle the situation is if that's the case, I give them $20 or whatever. And what I would do is pressure them about paying it back. And so when they actually get the money and they try to pay it back to me, I'm like, no, you keep it. It was about the principle of you paying me back, saying it's you sticking true to your word. Because I'm not gonna be mad over $20. Like, I mean, for some, that's all they got. But for me, I got a little bit extra, so I'm not really gonna like go crazy about it. But it's about the principle, about you sticking true to your word and saying, hey, I know you gave me this to put me up in my situation. I'm gonna give it back to you. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I guess so the $20 I just use because that's like the staple borrowing amount for whatever reason. It's like, can I get $20? But my thing is like it seems like when people are asking for money, they become experts on money. Like they decide like, oh, well, you have an extra $20. You can afford to do this. Like they get into the math of how much I'm making. And now all of a sudden they're good with math. But when it comes to their money, they can't, think of those things and how much they can afford. And then they overspend or whatever. So I do agree that it's the principle. And if we were to take the amount higher, let's say $200, $300, where it was like, okay, now if I give you this, maybe I'll be hurting, but I want to be nice and give this to you. That person that sees that and still goes forward with it, knowing that they don't have a way to pay them back, what does that actually mean as far as like that person caring about you and your well-being?
I wouldn't think that they cared. Not as much.
Why?
Especially when you get into the higher amounts of money. And if you're borrowing it from somebody and they are expecting you to pay it back, if you know you can't pay it back, why borrow the money? If they're literally only giving it to you just to help you out, and they're like, okay, I need it back on this day, whatever. And you're like, okay, but you know doggone well you are not about to pay them back. Why would you take the money? Why would you risk putting them backwards and whatever they got to do for yourself? But I always think about other people. Like if I need to borrow some money, I'm not about to say, oh, I'll borrow some money and pay you back here if I can't pay you back.
Yeah. And
I
I'm
don't
not
think
even
they
talking
really
about,
not even care, but they're just not worried about the other person's situation as much as they're worried about their own.
no, I agree. And I think the reason I'm asking this is because I see a lot of people, when they're transitioning from, not really having much to having a little more. There was like this documentary I was watching where it was talking about one of the big reasons that, the black middle class is now, you know, not where the white middle class is. One of the reasons is because a lot of them had family members, a lot of the black people that did go out and get college degrees, better paying jobs and stuff. They didn't invest in like stocks and real estate and stuff. They decided to lend that money out to family and try to help other people because they had more people that were struggling. So they were like, yeah, here's $500, go put a down payment down on this. Here's $1,000 here. Like giving out money expecting to get it back, or just trying to help. And because of that, over generations, now like less black people have wealth. So I'm just trying to see, like, $20 may seem insignificant, but then as we get more money, people try to get more from us. Like they try to get more money, more time, more energy from us. And if we give it to them and then they didn't have any intention of at least having us break even, what does that mean about that relationship in the long term?
Mm,
It could affect it.
yeah, you shouldn't put yourself like I would put myself in a situation like that, honestly. So I mean, this question really don't apply to me that much because for me, if you ask me to borrow money, a lot of people don't ask me that. Like I take care of my moms and my circle that supports me through anything and everything. So and that's very few people. But like I got a partner who, he does his own clothing line and stuff like that. And this was like years ago. I had gave him $100. I was like, you get it back up. We'll go half and half. Get your stuff up back and running, and just send me some merch when later on down the road as a repayment. So he didn't feel like I'm in debt to him. You feel me? But that was good enough for me. But if he ever hit me up and was like, "Hey, I need to borrow like $300," like we gonna have a conversation. We gonna see what's going on and see where your head's at. Um, because that $100 invested into him, planting the seed where he was keeping it consistent. He didn't need no more help. Like he was getting it off the ground and doing it by himself. um, but at $300 and above, like we need to have a conversation and what you're doing with the money. Because if it's not going to something that's genuinely going to help you as far as like your basic needs, groceries, bills, stuff like that, your car, or if you're trying to invest into something that's like high risk, let's talk about it. Let's see what we can do. Because I don't have no problem with investing money into people. I don't have no problem with giving a little change here and there to people either. So, but I think too many people get caught up in trying to bring everybody with them to the top, and you can't, because some people still at the bottom with that same mindset. It's like if your sister goes to Texas and she has the same mentality, that attitude that she had in Vegas, she's not gonna see no success in Texas. So
So
those
what is
people,
she now?
that's up to her.
What?
That's up to her.
I said, so what is she now?
She'll have to.
What am I now?
She'll
Yeah,
have to
he
do her
said
own thing.
you can't. You
What
not
does that mean?
succeeding now.
No, I didn't
That's what
say
he
that.
said.
I didn't say that.
Oh, that's
You
what
said
you
if she
said?
come
Nah,
to
nah.
Texas,
I mean,
how she
I'm
is now,
trusting
she
the
not
No, no,
succeeding.
no, no,
process.
no, 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 no,
Well,
no,
you
no,
did
no,
say
no,
that. You said how
no.
I am now. I'm
I
trying to figure out how
said
I am now.
no. Y'all missed the point. I said
Throwing shots at me.
if you go to Texas with the same mentality and attitude that you have in Vegas, I don't know what it's like. But you said earlier that you working on it, so obviously there needs some tweaking to it. But I'm saying
Oh yeah.
if you go down there and it gets worse, you're not gonna be as successful because you go
I
into
can
a new
agree.
environment, but you the same. It's like walking into a business
I
meeting.
get what you're saying.
It's like being from the hood, walking into a business meeting with all white folk, and then you talking how you talk in the hood. You feel me? They really not gonna be hip to it. So you gotta develop as time goes on. And I think too many people try to bring their family members, and it's like, who is your family? Who truly is your family? Like everybody can say that they're your family, Like when you get $1 million, I'm like, yeah, Robert, that's we brothers, we blood brothers. I'm a dog. You know what I'm saying? He gonna break me off a little piece of change. That's stupid. So don't put yourself in a situation like that.
So you're not giving the money, pretty much.
I'll get the money, but it's gotta be, what is it for? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if it ain't for basic needs or them trying to progress forward, I'm not finna give you $300 go spend it on the Apple Watch. That's a waste of money.
What if they pay you back?
I mean, if they guarantee that and say, yeah, I'm gonna pay you back in 2 weeks, all right.
All right.
Mine depends on the person. Because, I've been in situations where I've looked out for people and
You gonna look out for me when you get money?
I mean, it depends on the person. We're going to see.
Depends on what.
But,
we could talk about this.
we can talk about it because I do like to help people, especially if I'm in the position to help people. But something I have had to learn, and I had to have this conversation with my dad too. Like, I would literally give people my last, not knowing if I was going to get it back.
Ooh.
And he's like, you got to stop doing that. Like, at the end of the day, you always got to make sure you're good. And it's good that you want to help people and look out for people. And even though you're not doing it as, oh, I'm looking out for you, so next time you're going to look out for me, that's kind of sort of you kind of have to have that mindset though. Because it's like, if somebody's like, oh, I'm going to borrow $500 from you, and you're like, okay, I need it back here. And they're like, okay, I got you, I'm going to pay it back. And they don't pay you back, they wasn't looking out for you, but you was looking out for them. So nowadays, sometimes you don't want to look at what you're getting back from helping somebody. But as far as money goes, you just got to be real careful with that. So mine depends on the person, what you need it for. If it's somebody who I know is not going to pay me back, depending on the day and how my emotions is feeling that day and the amount of money, I might give it to you still knowing that you're not going to pay me back, but I don't have any expectations of getting it paid back. I'm still going to be good whether you give that back to me or not. So look out for yourself.
Let me know when one of those days are, all right?
I'll let you know.
Get that 500. Get that 500. Hey, but let me say this. I met somebody, and she's my mentor now. She's an older lady. Shout out to Sue. And when I got my dogs and stuff, she came with me to the store and paid for everything. And she didn't expect anything in return except for me to take care of them and keep being the way I was. And later on down the road, I wouldn't say I paid her back, but I took care of her as well for taking care of me. So situations like that, I don't mind it. Like if you down and out or whatever for the moment, hey, I don't mind planting the seed. I don't expect that money back. You just keep being great. You feel me? So
real recognize real.
You feel me, boy?
That's what people miss is like if people aren't attracted to you and don't want to help you on your journey, then there's something about your journey that has people worried. And so if your journey is you get your paycheck and spend it right away and you don't have any money, people don't want to support that. But if your journey is you get your paycheck and you're paying your bills and you're grinding and you're working hard and people see that, a lot of people will reach out and just try to help you just because they see that. Like Ty did that with some Beat headphones when we first met.
Oh yeah.
Like he was just like he was organizing this Christmas thing where people were getting me gifts and stuff. And I think that was like around when I don't know, like cute. I don't really talk about my upbringing and stuff, but I think that was around the time where it was like, whoa, I would have never known that you came from that because you never you don't carry yourself like that.
Oh yeah.
And so
we talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So then he went out and they got it was supposed to be a group effort where they got me the Beat headphones, but he ended up getting them himself because that fell apart. But it's just like when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, people want to support you. And it's interesting that people always want to borrow money, but they never want to borrow your time. Like I don't really hear anyone say, hey, can I borrow your time real quick? Can I borrow your time so that you can maybe help me get to a point where I don't have to borrow money anymore. Like, let's help me understand what's going on here. Let me borrow your wisdom, your time, your knowledge. It's never that. It's can I borrow some money? And here's the thing. If you go to a bank or something and borrow money, they get interest on it. Most people don't even want to do the interest thing. They're like, oh, so I got, like, I have Western Union people money. And when you do that, you have to pay to send them the money. But then when they send me the money back, they don't send me what it costs to even send the money. Like, if say I Western Union $50 and it cost me 10 to send it, they'll give them $50 and then Western Union will take out 10 and I'll only get 40 back. So I lost money sending you some money. Like, that is just that type of mentality where people just want to take. And so I think that it's important as we progress and as, you know, other entrepreneurs progress to really focus on where you're putting your money and who you're lending it to. And I suggest reading or listening to The Richest Man in Babylon, because they actually have a section where someone gets like 50 pieces of gold, right? And this is more than they've ever had in their life. This is pretty much like winning the lottery in their time. And he's asking this lender who's wise and who's rich, he's asking him, like, I have a family member, my sister, her husband or whatever, wants to borrow some gold to start this business. And the lender is just like telling him, like, well, all of these tips on like whether he should lend it or not. And, you know, he's breaking it down and there's just this list of things that he says, like, okay, you should lend money. And there goes my camera. Okay. You should lend money with this. You should lend money with that. But it's interesting because the way that people who lend money think about money is a lot differently than the people who just earn money.
Right.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, no, it is. It's wild.
And I think the biggest thing about money is it depends on the person as well. Like your sister was saying, I think back to the time we was in Subway and Buddy just gave us $20 out of nowhere.
Yeah, like, I remember that.
Out of nowhere. And, you know, your brother was like, we'll split it half and half. And then he was like, I don't even think we split it. I don't even think we really got anything. Or maybe we did. I don't know what we did. But we got sandwiches. And then he was like, can I get the rest of it? And I ain't had no problem with it because, like, you know, we broke it almost even, but, you know what I'm saying, it was for other purposes. You know what I'm saying? Can't say that on here. But,
hey,
you know, that's the respect aspect for me, because it's like, you know, he could have been like, this is mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, but, you know, I think if it's respect, man, and, you know, you cool with that person, like, y'all good, bro.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the person and the reason. I get it. It's just, I think that, you know, when we're talking about lending money, we're not actually lending money. We're lending time, because that's what it took to get it. And so if it was reworded, if it was like, hey, can you give me, I don't know, like, let's say you make $20 an hour and somebody's like, can you give me an hour of your life? Or let's say it's $300 and it took you 10 hours to get that. And it's like, can you give me 10 hours of your life?
Yeah,
it'd be a little different, you know, like you'd be like 10 hours. Why would I want to spend 10 hours with you? What am I getting back for spending 10 hours of my life for you? But we just think that it's money that we're giving, but it's actually time. So, but enough of that. Enough of the shenanigans. We gonna get into this topic today. And
your sister finally woke up.
Yeah, she's awake. She's vibrant. She's smiling. No alligator breath.
She light skinned.
I brushed my teeth. Thank you very much.
People who hold their coffee cups like that don't brush their teeth.
Ooh.
I brushed my teeth.
All right. So
I know you see that.
I want to know I want to know from y'all, outside of Shalisha photoshopping her teeth on today.
Don't play with me. You the only person who's into that filter. Photoshop shit. I do not have a filter.
See, she done cussed again. Look at her. We need
like some reactions, though.
We need like an old black woman in Shalisha's room that just spanks her every time she cusses.
Gotta put some hot sauce in my mouth.
Some soap.
Ew.
Some edge cream. All right.
It's not cream. It's gel. Thank you very much. Into today's topic.
So today,
Are you sure it's gel? Because it be all crusty sometimes.
Yes, it's gel. Gel dries and hardens.
Too much of it, boy.
Sometimes you be putting too much, but it's better to put too much than not enough.
What you mean, bro? So you can look like you ashy on your forehead?
Well, no, you don't look like you ashy.
Some of y'all do, boy. Ooh.
y'all.
Yeah, it can happen. And then it also depends on the gel you use, because you got to use clear gel if it's like white or has a coloring to it, of course.
You need to start teaching some of these girls, because you can start a fire on their forehead, boy. Oof.
Be nice.
I'm just saying.
All right, let's get into the topic. Enough about Shalisha's ashy forehead.
He wasn't talking about my forehead. He was talking about some girl forehead. I don't know who he was talking about.
You
a lie.
Okay. So I'm gonna introduce this topic, and I don't know. The way I'm thinking about this is, I see a lot of people ordering the groceries online right now, right?
I do that.
They order the groceries online. They can go through, and they ain't got to go to the grocery store, and it's more
delivered
convenient
to your front door,
right? So when they deliver the food to your front door, you know what you're getting, right?
Yeah.
Because you went on there, you saw it, you ordered it, you did all the things, you paid for it to get it. Now, what happens if they come to your door and it's not what you wanted? Nothing, maybe 10% is what you actually paid for and wanted.
You don't put substitutions and you get your money back.
All right. So this brings me to our topic today, which is, what is the difference between you and the best version of you? Right? What is the difference? And this relates to the grocery example, because you had a vision. Is like you ordered what you thought you were ordering. It came and it wasn't it. And so now you want a refund. You want your money back. How does that work in real life when, you want to be a certain person or you want certain things and you don't get them? How do you get your refund back? And how do you decide if you deserve a refund?
Go ahead, Shalisha. I don't order groceries online, so I'm
not even gonna lie. I got like real lazy with it. I hate going to Walmart. I would spend too much money on Walmart, and then I just hate going there because it's always packed. So I get my groceries delivered right to that front door. I do that. I'm that lazy one.
So when I say refund, I'm not talking about the groceries. I'm talking about like in real life, when you say that you want something for your life and you don't get it. Like, let's say you say, I want something in 2 weeks. I want to make this change in my life, and it doesn't happen. How do you decide whether it was your fault? Like, how do you decide whether you need a refund or not? What is the version of that?
For me, I don't decide that I need a refund. I don't get my money back. Because I feel like if there's something that I've set out to achieve in a certain time frame and I didn't achieve it, then there was something that I could have been doing differently that I wasn't doing to get to it. So I feel like in my personal life, I'm in control. So if I don't hit a certain goal when I say I want to hit it or achieve something, then there was something that I needed to be doing differently that could have had me achieve it. So I kind of punish myself and then just reevaluate. And add more discipline to my life. So I don't ask for a refund back when it comes to myself. But I'm also learning to push myself and trust into my intuition and my gut. And for me, that's one of the things that causes me to not get where I want to be or achieve what I want to achieve. So instead of like throwing that pity party and, oh, I did everything I could, but I didn't get it. But did you really do everything you could have? So I don't ask for a refund back.
So what do you think the difference is between you and the best version of you?
The difference between me and the best version of myself, I would say the discipline. The best version of myself is way more self-disciplined.
In what way?
And in every way, every aspect of life. That's
Like
one of
what?
my things.
Give me an example.
So an example is, you know, if I'm feeling tired and I don't want to do what I need to do that specific day or in that specific time frame, you know, sometimes I'll find a way to like tweak it to where I can get the best out of both, or try to get the best out of both worlds, or have my cake and eat it too, instead of just sitting there doing what I got to do. You know, it's good to show up, but sometimes you need to do more than just show up. um Also, like if something doesn't go as planned, I will get discouraged, and I'll kind of use that as an excuse to like take a step back. So just disciplining myself and trusting in myself that I got this.
So
But we
so
don't ask for refunds.
so once you guys decide like what the best version of you looks like, or let's take a step back. Okay. So you're living your life the way you're living it, and I'm assuming there's something that happens where it's like, okay, I don't want this anymore. I want something else.
Uh-huh.
Right. So what does that look like? You know, like what does that process look like in terms of I'm living my life and now I decide that I want something different? How do you get to the point to where you're even aware that there is a better version of you out there?
Reflecting on your life. You got to look at your life. You got to look at what your life is now versus what you want it to be, and figure out what you can do to get it there. Like for me, transitioning into the real estate, at first I was into the medical industry. Um, and then I was like, you know what? We're going to get this leasing job, see how it goes. I was tired of being at my job I was currently at, got into it. And then Robert had his license. So it was more closer to the goals I had for that 5-year, 10-year picture. And then started getting into it, breaking down an action plan. It actually came out to be something that I actually enjoyed doing. But it was just like, this is what my life is now. This is what I want it to be. What can we do to get there?
So having a vision and a plan.
Yeah, because you got to compare and contrast. If your life isn't what it is or what you want it to be right now, then you have to figure out how you can get there. Don't just settle for the life that you have. You don't have to do that. And I think that is for me, that's one of the first steps of creating my vision. I kind of compare and contrast my life now to what I want it to be.
What about you, Ty?
It's an interesting concept.
Oh,
Is there
professor.
is there a best version of yourself?
What do you think?
Yes.
I don't know. I think back to like I think Dragon Ball Z, how they're constantly like leveling up. And I watched the most recent one where they were hitting like God levels. And I was just like, dang, bro, they came a long way just from, practicing to go Super Saiyan and then hitting God like levels and blue levels. And like for me, so it's like, I don't know if there's ever a best version of yourself.
Why?
I think we're constantly developing. I don't think you ever just hit a level and you just say that's it. I'm the best. I'm 100% perfect. I'm good. Like I think you become a better version of yourself, but I wouldn't say it's the best version. How do you know that you hit the best version of yourself?
So, and that's why the question is thought provoking, is because it's counterintuitive. Because right now, if someone says, think about what the best version of you would look like not physically necessarily, but in totality, what would the best version of you look like? You can only picture that best version with the information and the experiences you have now. But let's say that you reach that. Let's say my best version is I'm bench pressing 200 pounds. I'm meditating every day. Let's say I hit the best version of what I think of now. And then I ask the question again once I hit it. There's going to be a different standard. Yeah. And so that's what it was with the Super Saiyan thing, is like, they were like, how strong can I get? What would the strongest version of me get to? Then they got to that level. And then it was like, okay, now I need to get stronger. What would a better version of this look like? And then a better version and a better version. And I think that people get scared of imagining and challenging themselves to be the best version that they can be, not forever, but just with what they have right now. Right. And so it's like no one's saying be perfect with the best version of you, but with what you have now, what can you do to enhance that to the best of what you can do now? And then once you get to that next level, how can you increase that? And I know that people can do this and they understand this concept because every 2 years they go and get a new iPhone, right? People will upgrade their phone but won't upgrade their lives. And so if you can stand in line for 3 or 4 hours to get a new iPhone, did you stand in line for 3 or 4 hours to upgrade yourself to think about, like, you know all the new features of the iPhone, but you don't know all the new features of what your future self will have. Like you're online looking up like, oh, what will the new iPhone have? What will the new Mac have? What will the new Xbox have? What features? How is it going to be better than what I have now? But you're not researching and thinking about and reflecting, what will the new version of Robert have? You know, like what will it do better? What is it doing now that I would like to improve on? And so people are more interested, I think, in upgrading the things that they have instead of upgrading who they are.
Interesting.
Agreed.
Like what would your new features be? If somebody was buying you, you know, like for all intents and purposes, if somebody was buying you and they bought you, and then in 3 years, you know, they were like, okay, why should I keep this? And is there something better? Like, and I'm not talking about slavery, you know, I don't want people to get confused. I'm just saying, like in an abstract way, if somebody was buying you now and then they had the option of keeping you in the future, why would they keep you instead of, you know, upgrading? Like what would have people keeping you around? And your job is the same thing. If you're doing the same thing as you're doing, like in 3 years, they're going to want to get rid of you. Like what is making someone keep you around?
I think I go back on my statement. Maybe you can be the best version of yourself. You just have to maintain it once you hit the level that you feel like you're the best version. Because with the Dragon Ball Z, they hit the God levels, and I guess I probably say that's the highest level they can go. But you see that they're maintaining it and perfecting it. So once you hit the best level of who you are, you got to maintain it.
And that's also comes with self-improvement. It's like, you know, I know when he first got to the God level, he couldn't really maintain it. It was random. He couldn't control it, but he kept improving to where he could control it better. And so now he can do more. And I know, like with Shalisha, she's getting into real estate more. It's like, yes, you get your license and that's one level, but now how can I perfect it? And maybe the next level isn't necessarily a big step, but the next level is, you know, learning how to communicate better with people, or something that doesn't seem as significant, but over time it sets you so far apart that you see that it's a level up.
Yep.
And so I'm just interested in how people look at upgrading their lives and what goes into that.
I feel like people should put little milestones, but for me, you know, life is about growth. I don't think that if you're into improving yourself and becoming that best version of yourself, I don't think there's no end date. There's always something you can learn, always something that you don't know. There's always room for growth and always room for improvement. Like nobody is perfect. That is a false statement. Even Ty, you know, so becoming the best version of myself, for me, there are milestones and levels that I reach, but I'm always striving for that growth. I'm always striving to find a way to tweak something to make it better. So I wouldn't say there's an end level of the best version, as long as I'm doing what I need to do to grow in different aspects and just be true to myself, then that's all that really matters to me. But I feel like if we're living life, you know, life is about growth, life is about lessons. So until your life expires, if you're into all that stuff like we are, you know, there really isn't a time where you stop growing.
No, I agree with that. I see a huge problem where people aren't even willing to entertain the idea of a better version of themselves. And so
I think they want to. I mean, I think they think about it, but it does take a lot of work. And I just feel like people, they want that end result without having to put in the work. Or they'll start to go on that journey and they realize it wasn't what they thought, or they realize it was a little harder than they thought. And they just get discouraged to where they're like, oh, well, maybe I can't do this, or maybe it's just not something they want to do because their mindset isn't in the right place. But I feel like everybody daydreams about life and what they want it to be or how they wish it could be, but it's just, you got to do it. It's not an easy road, but it's about if you're willing, if you have that mental toughness to keep going.
I would like to think that it's based on logic and like people are thinking about it, but it's just too hard. But when I think about it, it's actually harder on you to stay the same than if you were to just upgrade. Like it would be harder for people to get around in horses today than to just have a car. Like
I wouldn't say that.
I would like if you live 35 miles away and you have to be to work in like an hour, it'd be harder to get there on a horse. Like trying to like stop the horse at the stoplights. The horse is a lot slower.
Listen, bro.
People, I don't know.
We got somebody out here that was riding a horse during the protest, bro, and he was moving on that thing. When I say moving, he was moving, bro.
Come on, a horse.
He was, he was.
If we left somewhere at the same time, let's say I was going to Chicago, if I got in a car, I would get there before a horse.
Think so?
Yeah, the horse gets tired. The horse can't go like, 70, 80 miles over a long stretch of time.
Why can't it?
They get tired.
The boys be racing horses.
Yeah, but you know what horsepowers are, right?
I do, but I also think about a wild Mustang. And that thing can run forever.
I don't think they can run as far as a car can drive.
I mean,
they gonna get tired at some point.
That's all right. All it needs is speed for a little amount of time, and we good, baby.
Nah.
We gonna try. We gonna try.
Get a ticket.
Hey, we gonna try past the red light. We gonna be like, stop. Yeah.
I'm gonna
take it off on him.
I'm gonna hit you in my car.
I'd rather take the car too. I can't.
I'm gonna get the pickup. That's all I'm saying is it's harder to stay the same than it is to change.
That brings me to a point is like what I'm learning now is it's not hard. We make it hard as people. Yeah. We make it hard because we look too much on the outside and look at other people's journeys, I guess you could say, or their way of doing things. And we try to compare it to what we're doing, and we're like, they tried it and it didn't work for them, so I'm not gonna try it. Or they did it for the first 2 years and they didn't make no money, I'm not gonna do it. So what I'm learning now is to detach from that and unlearn that, because we look so much outside for motivation, and we see other people do things and we're like, I want to do that. I want to do what they're doing. Right. But sometimes we try to make their journey our journey when it should just be your journey. You could take what people are saying and all the advice and, free game and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you have to plant your seed how you're going to plant it and make your foundation how you're going to make it. You could take what they say. I'm not against that. But I think we try to mimic other people's journeys way too much, and we forget to just go on our own. So like for me right now, there's a structure and there's discipline to it, but I'm not really following nobody else's guidelines except my own. So I'm doing what I want to do. I'm doing it how I want to do it, how I see fit. Hopefully that doesn't offend anybody in the process, but if it does, it's just not for you. You feel me? Like that's just what it is. But I'm going with the flow and just really going the way I'm going, and then meeting who I need to meet along that way. They can be on my team. They can give me free game and stuff like that to push me forward. But I'm not gonna try to mimic them. I'm gonna be authentic.
No, and I think that it's important because you touched on something, and it's like I think it's crazy how when we think about what's hard and what's not, we we tend to, like, if I give somebody advice, if I say, hey, this worked for me, or here's some practical advice that I think would be useful. 9 times out of 10, people won't listen to it, but they'll look at my life and what I'm doing and decide that it's too hard. And so they are actually making a decision on me, but they're not making it on what I say. They're making it on what they see and what they're interpreting. And so I think it's crazy that people will, for instance, look at someone else's success and be like, oh, I can't do that, it's too hard. And they'll use me as an example for why it's too hard for them, but and they'll listen to that, but they won't listen to what I actually tell them. But so they're still listening to me in a way, but they're not listening to me in a direct way. They're listening to my life in a way, and then they're like, oh, well, that's too hard. But when I tell them, like, oh no, well, actually all you have to do is this, this, and this, and this, this, and this, and they're like, no, like that's too hard. So I don't understand, like at a certain point what makes things hard for people besides the fact that they didn't do it.
Them own selves, bro. Like I watch a lot of vlogs on YouTube about different things. So I'm trying to move to a different place right. Well, not right now, but I'm gonna move to a different place in the future, and it's not a normal place that you would see probably people of color that much, just because people of color want to be in the city and they don't want to be in nature and stuff like that. So for me, I want to be in the nature and mountains and beach and all that good stuff. Um, so I've been watching vlogs and informational stuff, and like I started to notice like you don't like it there, or you say these certain things because of yourself. So I'm always thinking, okay, how would I be living there? What's my lifestyle look like right now? How is that going to translate over there? Because some of the people, they haven't been outside their own state, ain't been outside their hometown, ain't been out the country, ain't been to other states in the United States. So it's like I also take that to account because I've been out of country. I've been to so many different states here, so I know the vibes and the different cultures and stuff. It wasn't until I came across these one people that really like sold me on it, because it was kind of like a reflection for me, because they lived in different countries, they lived in different states, they thought about moving to a different country, but they settled in this one place that I want to go to, and they really were authentic with it and real with it, rather than saying, "Oh, I don't like it because," like this one girl said something about the university there. She said, first of all, it's a con because there was people that got into a computer science technology program that were actually from the state over somebody who was coming out of state. And she was like, well, I feel like some of them weren't qualified, and the people out of state should have got into this program before them. I'm like, what? That's a con. Like that's the stupidity for me, is like that's not a con, bro. Like a school's gonna give, you know, favor to somebody who's actually from the state than somebody who's coming out of it. Like that's a bigger game than what you think it is. Like that's not a con. So that's what I said. What I said about mimicking other people's journey and taking the advice and free game, but filtering through the BS. That way you can move and maneuver how you want to maneuver. Yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up.
Thank you for sharing.
Dig deeper, he said.
You got to dig deeper. Y'all got anything else for the people?
It's easy, bro. Like
It is.
I can't express how easy it is. Even when it's hard, it feels easy. Like that sounds so stupid. Even when it's like the most difficult, chaotic time for me and trying to figure out everything, it's easy. I'm going through a flow. And I think once you fix your mindset and and how you think mentally, you'll be pretty much untouchable. I mean, if you quit doubting yourself, that's gonna skyrocket you 10 times 10 times more than you thought. Don't doubt yourself. Don't second guess. Think everything
Yes.
through and through. Um, do it. Go for it. make strides to it. It's not difficult, man. We make it difficult. We make everything so much more difficult than what it is. Like, you know how many people I had tell me college is hard, college is hard, college is hard. College is one of the easiest things I've ever done in my life. Literally, one of the most easiest things in the world. And I say that because I put in the time. I had discipline. I was committed to it. Everything else just fell into place. The A's came in. The GPA went up. Even in the graduate program, I'm in an accelerated program, which is a 10-week intensive course for each quarter. There's 6 quarters. It's 10 weeks of 2 hours of async work, and then we have an hour and a half class, and then assignments on top of that. And like my first quarter was challenging because I was like, new. I was out of school for like 2 years, so I was, fairly new to the game. Been out for a while, had to knock the rust off. But once I got into the flow, it was easy. It was like, this is nothing. Like this, it is a reward to graduate with your master's and stuff. But it was easy because I didn't listen to other people talking about it. It's hard. Oh, it's hard. It's hard. People told me real estate was hard. I had conversations with you, and you painted a vision that it was. I'll say it was easy for Fitz. I won't say it's easy. I won't say it's easy for everybody else. But the conversation we had, you kept it real, and it was like, okay, he painted this vision of it's challenging at times, but once you get into that flow, it's easy. It's easy. Man, people just try that, they be straight, bro. I promise you.
What about you?
I feel like the hardest part is to actually get started. And once you get started, and like Ty was saying, you get in the flow of things, it kind of just becomes repetition. So I agree, it's not hard. For me, the hardest part was to get started. But now that I've gotten started and I'm, improving and having confidence in myself, it's literally just easy. And, at times with my chaotic life right now, doing my schoolwork and focusing on my real estate license and my goals and my future, that's what grounds me. It keeps me sane. That's like the highlight of my days when I start thinking about that stuff. But I mean, if you have the mindset to just get started, and Robert told me this one day, just show up, even if you're not feeling it that day or you're not too much into it, just show up, because even just showing up can do a lot for you, to push you to that next level, to where it's like, okay, I'm showing up, and now I'm showing up and I'm here. So I would also just say stick with it. No matter what life brings you. If it's something, for me, I've had personal experiences and life try to get in the way, but just keeping that vision at the end and keeping it in my grasp. Like when I vision my vision, I don't only vision it, I feel it. I see myself in it. I can tell you what I'm doing in it. I can even tell you what shoes I'm wearing. Like it's real. So keep going, and just know that regardless of anything, you owe it to you to achieve those goals. And it's not hard. It's about just discipline and putting it into your everyday routine, your everyday schedule. There are things that we have that we do on a day-to-day or every other day that don't even need to be there. And if you could replace that with something that's going to benefit your life or your future, your financial standpoint, do it. Stop making excuses.
I got one more thing to say for these people. Stop saying it's the devil trying to tear you down when it's yourself. You the devil. Stop saying it's the devil. You the one making the decisions. You the devil. You the devil of your life. You the one create the hurricanes, the thunderstorms, the tornadoes, the tsunamis, the earthquakes. That's your fault. You the devil.
I mean,
I thought
I'm
that
a
was global
spiritual
warming.
person. I'm a spiritual person, so I do believe in the devil coming to tempt you, but I believe you are responsible for falling into that temptation.
You the devil.
And letting him win.
You the devil.
Be in charge of your life.
You got free will.
Don't be out here playing. You
got
do.
free.
Make
you
that
got
choice.
okay, so you make the bad decision. You the devil.
Yeah. but I'm just a spiritual person. So like lately I
That's
tell Robert
spiritual
too,
for your.
I'd be telling Robert, I'd be like, they coming for me, like they're speaking to me right now. And if the minute I stop listening or I go outside or I'm like, okay, we're gonna play around a little bit, we're gonna turn on Dynasty and waste an hour, they be coming for me. So
You coming
I
for
do.
yourself. If you let them in, that's because of yourself.
Oh no, absolutely. I made that choice. I fell into that.
That's some spiritual stuff for you.
I fell into that wrongdoing. But the devil, he out there though. He working. He putting that stuff out there. But I'm the one following into it. So it's my responsibility.
Shalisha.
I am not the devil.
Bro, we are all. Man, let me put you on some game real quick. We are all the devil.
I know you see my halo up here.
We all got free will, because if you believe in that, listen. Why do you think that? Why do you think you're not the devil?
Because I'm not a demon.
Do you make bad decisions?
Yeah.
Decisions that affect your life, right? And do you ever do you know the difference between good and bad, right? Right or wrong? Your parents taught you that. Yes. So you ever felt like a situation was wrong, but you still went through with it?
Depends. If it's like
it's a yes or no.
Well, no, it doesn't. It's not just yes or no. It depends. If it's
Have you ever made a decision?
If it's like a moral thing, then no, I don't go against my morals. But if it's just like I shouldn't do this.
You ever
sometimes I done.
You ever stayed in a relationship with somebody knowing it was wrong, but you kept trying?
Knowing the relationship was wrong?
Yeah. Like you knew it was bad, it wasn't going anywhere, but you decided to keep trying?
No. Because if I stayed in that relationship, that means I was staying.
Anyways, the decisions you make.
How you gonna ask me a question and not let me finish my damn answer?
Weirdo. Anyways.
I know, but
my point is, if you ever been in a situation that you knew it was wrong, but you still stayed in it, you the devil. Because you have free will to do the right thing and not have that storm come into your life, but you decided to choose the wrong thing. And then you created the storm, and then you was like, "Why is this happening to me? I don't know why it's happening." Because of your own self, bro.
I got something to add to that. That maybe will add some context.
That you can do something that may not be right in that moment, but you are not the devil. I'm not calling you the devil. That's tied.
Let me try to piece together what y'all are saying.
The devil, bro.
I'm not putting it out there.
You the devil too.
I do think in a similar sense, what Ty is saying is that when you do something and you're choosing to do it, like for instance, we were talking about remaining the same. If you choose to remain the same, then you're bringing that upon yourself. So if you try to blame some other entity, whether it's another person or a spirituality or a religion or a religious figure or something, then you're actually taking the responsibility off of yourself and putting it on something else. And that may not yield you the best results because you're not actually taking accountability. And so I think this goes to what I was going to say to people is like, a lot of people don't know what they're built for. And so when they work against what they're built for so long, and then like they're making it harder on themselves. So it almost be like a fish trying to live on land. And it's like, they've lived on land their whole life, but if they only got into the water, they would see how much easier it is. But they see all the other fish swimming and they're like, oh, that looks hard. Look at how fast they're swimming. Look at this, look at that. But they don't know that in that water is what they're actually built for. And so when Ty said, I got into real estate and it was easy for me, it was because I was built for this, not for real estate, but for the activities that you do in real estate. I was built for people telling me no. I was built for talking to people. I was built for, grinding and hustling and all that stuff. I was built for that. That's my environment. And so when you're in your environment that you were built for, it just clicks. And so, yes, you're going to catch on to things faster because that's what you're built for. And a lot of people just don't know what they're built for. And they're, like a fish on land. They think it's easier on land, but actually they're built for the water. And some people are built to be entrepreneurs, but they're working a 9-to-5 job. Some people are built to be entrepreneurs, but they're working a 9-to-5 job. So it's actually harder for them. And some people are just built maybe to take orders from people and do that 9-to-5 job. And they're trying to be entrepreneurs. But if they would just go work a job, they would be a lot happier and fulfilled in their life. And so you just got to find what you're built for. What is it that you are built for, that you're naturally attracted to, and then go for that? Because anything outside of that, you're actually working harder to stay where you're at than to make the transition. Because once you make the transition, it's just gonna go. It's just gonna be so, it's gonna be like a clogged sink. Yeah, the water can still get through a little, but it's gonna clog. But once you fix that clog, the water is now able to flow correctly. And a lot of people just need to fix that clog, which is getting in the right environment, and that right environment will show you what you're built for.
And no, I agree. You got to take ownership. You got to take ownership of, the circumstances and situations. You make me want to put a finger up to this camera, that you put yourself in. I believe the world, puts temptations out there and, puts obstacles in your way, but you are completely in control.
If you let them.
That's what I'm saying, boy. Let me finish my sentence.
Lil Wayne intro.
A lot of people do that also. They'll blame, I went through this in life and this is why this is not, my life isn't this, and this. But taking ownership is a big part, because you can't change what you're not taking ownership for. So if you're not taking ownership for whatever made you put yourself in that situation, you're not going to be able to change it. So you're not going to be able to grow from it.
You don't sound like your brother.
Just like how people are like, my parents did this, and this to me, or they wasn't in my life, so I'm this way. No, you are grown, boo.
You that way because you chose to be that way.
Exactly. You let that in. You let that defeat you. You let that determine you. You let that be your
people
life.
hit you with the well, I'm not where I want to be because I had kids. Hey, you decided. Right. You decided to lay down and get pregnant.
Fuel you, right? Like, don't. You had a part in it. We all have a say in what we allow. Stop allowing this shit.
There she go again. She's choosing.
She said it like 5 times.
I had to put that emphasis on there. Sometimes those curse words, they add that emphasis, and like you can't stop blaming your life and the situation on why you are the way you are, and just say that's just the way you are. Like, it's okay.
You choosing to be that way. You the devil.
Exactly. I'm not the devil.
Let's end with a positive note. Let's end with a positive note. If y'all have not liked the channel, take ownership and go like the channel, subscribe to it, comment, share. Make sure you check us out on social media at Fitz Mindset. Make sure you leave a comment. Let us know what you like, don't like. For those of you who have children and want to watch the podcast, we have talked to Shalisha, and she is in the process of changing her tendency to curse.
The next episode, you won't hear one curse word from me, because I want you guys to tune into this. Some mothers are gonna listen to this podcast while cooking their kids dinner. Okay?
I put $5 on that. That's a lie.
Ooh, let's put $10 on it. We can go to 20. Don't play with me.
That's a lie.
We putting $20 on it.
That's a lie. Say less.
Put it. Boy, look.
I'm finna get rich next week. Wow.
But that's this episode.
She finna pull out her little cash.
$20 on it. I'm gonna leave it on my laptop.
That's her OnlyFans cash.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for watching. We'll be back next Tuesday.
Bless up.
Subscribe from the bottom podcast.
From the bottom.
Peace.